Hey, good morning, everybody, and happy Sunday, and welcome back to the Morgan Monroe State Forest. I am Tim. I don't know why I said that. You guys know who I am. We've been doing this now every Sunday morning now for coming up on a year. And I'll tell you what, it's been a fun year. Not to get into a big, Thanksgiving, what you're thankful for, but I am thankful for you guys. This has been a good thing, to see the same group of people come together every Sunday morning to go through this, to check in, to say hi. You guys head over from here and go over and check out Jim and Steve Tio's Ham Church stream, and it's good to know. We get to find out things like POTA power, and whether or not Vaughn has jumped up out of bed in his underbreeches and ran across the house to turn up the radio. But which, by the way, guys, I did get a chance to work Vaughn and Julie yesterday. I was out up in uh, not quite northern Indiana, but somewhere in the middle half of the upper part of the state, in around West Lafayette. We were at Prophetstown State Park, which is right there off I-65 in West Lafayette, and I met up with Dane, and I should do his call sign now because I said it like 500 times yesterday. Kilo Delta 9 Whiskey November Yankee, the portable ham here on YouTube. So go check out his channel. Dane brings a new perspective to amateur radio, being a younger, obviously much younger than me, but he's an over the road truck driver. And so he gets an opportunity to go all over the country, and he takes radio with him as part of that, and gets out and does that. He joins us occasionally on the ham radio kids table if he's in a spot where he's not driving. So he doesn't join the stream when on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Not a spot. But 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He joins the ham radio kids table if he can. If he's in a spot where he's in the passenger seat, he's part of a team, and he will join us and bring his perspective in. He's newer and does likes Morse code CW, and so it's always a fun time. But I met up with him yesterday, and we got on the air, did a pre-lunch activation of the park. Had a nice lunch, went back into town, and then did a post lunch activation, and did that. But then got to work Julie and Vaughn as I was heading out of the park. Everything was broken down, but as I was leaving, I'm just like, I wonder if they're on, because they're on regular, and they regularly live stream, and sure enough they were. So I was able to dial in on 20 meters with the 891 here in the truck, and was able to work them. I do want to give a shout out here, and unfortunately I noticed something um, and thought about this. And as I'm looking at this in the chat that goes by on the in the Restream studio, I don't see who channel members are. Um, and I feel like I've probably done a bad job of acknowledging the channel members. If you are one, I do apologize. But but I do want to thank the channel members. This isn't there are people that use YouTube as a means of income. This to me is like amateur radio, a hobby. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy educating through demonstration. Um, so there is a cost to this, the live streaming stuff like that, and those channel memberships help augment or offset the cost of it. And that's really what it is. So I do appreciate that. I appreciate super chats and I appreciate memberships and stuff like that. But once again, this is all I do this because I want to. I want to give back. Not amateur radio per se, but RF and electronics. Was something that I found right out of high school. In the military, I've had a very long, successful 30 plus year career in IT, and it all is because of electronics and being an engineer that can sit down and have a breadth of knowledge and understanding things and having insight. And I think a lot of that comes using amateur radio. This is why I really support the ARRL's effort with the Teachers Institute in teaching STEM. I think that finds students who otherwise would have been left behind because their academics weren't up to par with modern academic standards. So I really enjoy um, how amateur radio is an activity that gets people out there uh, to really just explore things and understand that failure is okay. And I think that's something that has creeped into amateur radio as a hobby that um, kind of, I don't know, it frustrates me in a certain way because everybody feels that they whether they're competitive or they've become competitive, but everybody kind of feels like that's how they have to be. That's how things have to be. Um, because if they're not competitive, they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, whether it's through social media or whatever. Um, Instead of going back and being able to use these opportunities to learn from, to become better. That's why shows like that's why programs like Steve does, Ham Nuggets. Julie, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Um, and I think POTA Power, yeah, also became a member of the QRP crew. Um, I think things like Ham Nuggets, Steve just gets in and does it. No directions. We just tinker, right? And sometimes that can be frustrating. Sometimes sitting there in the uh, uh, in the in the chat, I think sometimes we know the answer. Heck, Steve may even know the answer, but he just does it and does things like that to show people that it's okay to fail. It's okay to work through things. I've people learn different ways, and mine is not reading a book. Mine is just go doing it. And so I find things that interest me and I just go and do it. And I want that experience to fail. Then what I do is take those failures and then I go back to a resource material, a book, um, whatever, the internet. And now I have a way to form a question. I've got a problem, I've got a specific issue. Now I can take that in the form of a question and go find the answer to it. And I find for me, that's how I learn. Now, other people, they'll read the entire book and not want to touch anything until they've have a thorough, full understanding. And that kind of goes back to this argument that you hear about amateur radio licensing. And it's going in a big loop here. I've had quite a bit of coffee this morning. So, um, going back to the licensing, there's one group of people who feel that they have to be a perfectionist before they ever go attempt to take the test. There's another group of people that say, you know what, just go memorize the questions. That license that you get is just a license to learn. And I think the balance is probably somewhere in the middle. So if you are somebody who feels that, before you go take the test, um, you have to understand every aspect of it, and have a little faith in it. I think the common wisdom that I hear from a lot of people is you go take those practice exams. They're free. And when you hit about 80% consistently, 80 to 90%, just go take the test. Get that license. That gives you that access to get out there and start doing it. The other piece of advice that I can always, I think, give people is just go do it. Don't be afraid of failure. The hobby is you. This is you. It's you getting out there. It's not what I do or what anybody else does. Find areas of the hobby that interest you, and just go do it. And if you fail, that's great. That's every failure is a learning opportunity. Every time you put yourself in a position where it fails, you learn from it. You evaluate it. You find how could you do it differently. Go back to some of those things that we learn in school, and go with it. Um, John saying we don't want to. At the same time, we don't want to alienate the appliance operators either. And that's fair. We don't want to alienate anybody, because everybody can learn from this. There is a lesson in everything that we do in here, and that is great. So let's get into the thing here. The chat's built up. I've rambled on enough. Let's say our good mornings here. John is in the chat this morning. Good morning, John. Dave is in the chat this morning. Dave's checking in from Springfield, Missouri, and we'll be hopefully catching up and getting an eyeball QSO with Dave here in a couple months out at the Moore Expo. And stay tuned for that. Every year it's growing a little bit bigger, but there's a whole group of us. Digital Rancher, Jason Ham Radio 2.0, Kyle AA0Z, myself, Frank, Tank Radio Frank, Bill, Ham Radio Tectonics, and I'm sure I'm missing a few, but we've all, Prep Ham Paul joined us last year, but we are gathering, and we are camping, and we're having some fun. Steve from Alpha Antennas, Dave's local there, so I don't know, maybe he'll come out and camp this year, but his ham radio club and emergency management group had a big presentation out there for the off-roading outdoor community, which was kind of fun and cool. Julie, the arguably better half of the POTA Power duo, is checking in this morning. I'm assuming that the other one is Vaughn. So good morning, Vaughn. Roger McKinnon checking in this morning. My neighbor from the other side of the hollow, Cooley, checking in there. Hollow or holler, I don't know, whichever one. Bill checking in this morning. Good morning, Bill. Sean checking in this morning. I got to find a way to make a bigger display in here so I can see everything. Whiskey Zero Uniform Quebec Juliet checking in this morning. Nate's checking in. Good morning, Nate. I don't know if you just heard that, but there's a gunshot going off. Robert Monday checking in. Good morning, Robert. So it is hunting season, and I am here in the park. So I hopefully will probably change some scenery. Now that the leaves are off the trees, the Wi-Fi signal will travel a little bit better. I'll try to find some different locations. The lake itself probably isn't. I don't know. The sun is down today, so it's hazy. So there's the water, kind of cool, and there's the levee with the antenna cam there. So Whiskey 4, Oscar Golf Whiskey checking in this morning too. Looks like he is out at a park there, Lands End Wildlife Management Area in Virginia. Get his call sign into Ham Alert or jump on the POTA page, find out what frequency he's on, and work him today. And if anybody is going to be out activating, that make sure you get on the spotting pages and stuff like that. It's always fun. David checking in this morning from South Carolina. Good morning, David. 45 Auto checking in. Morning. So yesterday I saw this video, and I don't know if you follow Stuart. It's out in a boot, I think is how they pronounce it. Yeah, ABOOT. Victor Echo 9 Charlie Foxtrot, and I put I did make sure to capture the link here. And go when you get a chance, go check out the video. If you don't already follow Stuart, Stuart's a good channel to follow. He does a lot of DX. DX is probably his biggest passion. Number one, number two, the other one would be portable operation. And so Stuart's a good one to watch. Oh, hey, Eric's checking in this morning too. Good morning, Eric. Brandon Wynn's checking in also. Good morning, guys. But basically, the long and short of this video, and once again, I do recommend that you go and watch it, was, who owns the frequency? And maybe not so much owns it. That's not the right word, but who has control of it? Is it the portable activator, the POTA guy that's out, or is it this long established net that's been there since 1942? And he's got a good take on it. I like what he has to say, and the TDLR or Cliff Notes from our generation. Cliff Notes version of it is that really we all have to get along. There is a crowd of people out there that think, well, we've been doing this net on 14.300 for 600 years, and you should know this, and you should not use our frequency. Then there's guys that are out there. They've got a slice of time, and it's an open frequency that's not being used. And who has it? So he talks about that, and basically just the best way. The long and short though is, um, I'm not going to keep track of every net. I got flack from that guy that started rambling on 40 meters because I was using it, the precious AM window, and that somehow I should know this. Well, guess what? I don't have every bit of information. It's kind of the same thing, but getting along. What a lot of people failed to do is to actually watch the entire video and see that, short of the guy just rambling about somebody using it, nobody was actually using the frequency. I was making contacts, and he was broadcasting, which, by the way, violates the Part 97. Um, and then when he actually had a QSO, an actual bona fide QSO, not on AM sideband like he was doing. I did step back, and when I made my point, is that you can stand your ground, you can get out there. There are people that are going to try to bully you off a frequency because, once again, they've been using it since 1857, and everything. Be courteous, be kind. I generally am met with, in most circumstances, somebody will come in and say, "Hey, we've got a net firing up in 15 minutes or half an hour or whatever," and I thank them and generally plan on being off the frequency, so they can do that. And uh, something else that Stuart mentioned, though, it's a very good point. Um, it's easier for you individually, especially when we're using spotting and stuff like that, to shift to a new frequency. I have to do it anyways. There's times where I might have to do a frequency change 2 times, 3 times in an activation. Sometimes I'm doing it to shift bands, and sometimes I'm doing it because there's somebody sitting 1 kc above me who, for whatever reason, didn't hear me. And you know what? It's uh, not worth arguing over with somebody. It's just easier to move on. And with the spotting pages, I can do that. So find the good, give and take in all this, and have some fun. I don't know. Vaughn and Julie are putting something up today, so make sure you go check that out. Elodie, good morning. Good morning. Elodie's checking in from I believe the UK this morning. So good morning there. I did pick up yesterday. I did pick up, and one of the reasons I had met Dane, he had purchased some time ago a KX2. Um, got it from a gentleman who had bought it and outfitted it pretty nicely. The shack in the bag, or shack in the box, or whatever the terminology that Elecraft likes to, the marketing terminology they use with it, and quite a bit of extras. And his goal was to have a small compact kit to take with him. He was not using it, hadn't been using it for a while. And I had kind of mentioned before a trip that I went on, that I wanted something that was a little bit more uh, compact and easier to fly with, um, than my 705 solution. I've got some other radios too. I love the 705, and don't get me wrong. And so Ray, don't get mad at me. But um, this is just a little tighter to carry, and instead of having to carry a second suitcase with stuff, now I can just shove this into my backpack, along with my laptop and everything. So I met him up there to do that, and did it. So I've got a KX2 now, and some extra stuff, and some cool things. Came with a digi rig and everything. Also, my goal and I'm going to go ahead and put it out now, because I think one thing, we make goals, and it's easy. So it's easy to forget those goals if you don't have some accountability. So you guys are going to be my accountability partners in this. My goal is to learn CW, and I say that with a caveat. Um, I am hearing impaired. I've tried this several times um, over the years to do this, and technology hasn't quite been there for me. I would think that it would be easier if I was either completely deaf or had no hearing problems, but I'm kind of somewhere in between. And the some of the transitions between dits and das are where I'm having problems, and I understand um, the concept of learning the the letters as sounds. That all makes perfect sense to me, and not trying to count the dits and the das. But sometimes um, that transition between a dit and a da may sound just like a da to me, and that's where I've kind of been in there. Julie says CW is on her bucket list, extra first, and Julie, you're going to do that. I think you've been a great example of what I'm kind of preaching is just getting out there and doing it right. You've had Vaughn with you, and you kind of just sat there behind the scenes. You paid attention. You played with it. You were getting out on the air as a uh, second operator. Using uh, Vaughn's call to do the POTA activations and everything like that, and then um, just kind of went out and got your own license. Well, yeah, I mean, you had the license to begin with, but got the upgrade, and then went and then once again showing people uh, really how easy and fun this can be. I really love that in getting out there. So yeah, enough of me rambling. Sunday morning rambling here. Let's get on the air. So let's have some fun. Floyd, I agree. I've tried uh, actually the Long Island CW. I'm a lifetime member of it. Um, there's two things with the hearing, and one thing that really interests me with the Long Island CW Club, and I was because I'd already attempted it, got frustrated, not at anything else, but other than during COVID when I had extra time to do this. Um, I was in a group using CWAP, CW operators, whatever the other group, a great group of people too. No problems there. Uh, but there was, based on the time, the technology was Zoom, um, the air, the audio things. We put five of us in a Zoom session, and we would um, practice keying out things, working on letters and stuff like that. And part of this was basically a round table of, uh, you know, here are our three letters this week. You send it, the group, the uh, instructor, proctor, uh, coordinator, whatever you want to refer to him as, would be like, all right, Tim, what did Bob just send? And The problem that I was having was because of the technology, I couldn't distinguish, and it was very I don't know, frustrating for me because I'd have to ask him to repeat it over and over and over again. And on one hand, I mean, if I was in a room right next to him, I'd probably be able to understand it. It just it I had a hard time with it, and part of it was Zoom. Part of it was because it was over the air, the side tone, the tone that I was hearing. When it's over the air, I can adjust it. I can do that if I'm in a room. I can pick my side tone and sounds good and everything. Hey, good morning, Don. Um, I could do those things. I just couldn't do it um, very well when it was uh, on Zoom, and everybody. Uh, Once again, keeping in mind it was during COVID, right? So access to stuff was tough. So some people were using radios with their key, and the side tone generator. Some had external devices. Some built some things. Some were using their computer, and that tone was all over the place, and I had no ability to adjust it. And it became frustrating, and I moved on. Something that Long Island CW Club, they were on. I think it was Kyle, AA0Z. Kyle was doing the uh, CW Roundtable. I can't remember. I think it was a biweekly at that point. It was a biweekly on the roundtable. But Don says he can hear CW better when the characters are faster, and to a certain realm. Everybody is a little different. I agree with that. I mean, um, but I was watching. They had Mike and a couple others on, and the roundtable, and so I'm interested. I'm on their website. I'd heard about Long Island CW Club, but never really dove into it. I go to their website, and then I see this the banner up at the top. It says "Learn CW with for people with disabilities." So I click on it, and they've got a device. They have a device that is a haptic feedback device, and it um, will sit in the audio chain, and the dits and the das will trigger the haptic device to rattle and shake. In addition to that, it has lights that trigger. So if you have hearing disabilities like myself, the vibration, you also get the lights. So now you've got three modalities to pick that up. If you're blind, you get the light. I'm sorry. If you're deaf completely, you get the lights. Um, so there are great advantages to having something like that. So I've got one of those. It's been now time and commitment to saying this is what I want to do. So that's where I'm at with you guys. You guys are my accountability partners. I've now spent a fair amount of money buying a radio that is geared for CW in the field, and that is my goal, is to continue to do that. And we are going to do this. Roger says he enjoys using the app Morris Mania and sets the words to 30 words per minute. I hear conventional wisdom says that learning it faster is probably easier than in trying to learn it slow, and I really think I'm sorry. I just saw this. I wonder how great it would be to have all your YouTube hands would show up unannounced and surprise help you activate a park. Guys, if you're here in central Indiana and you're out activating, reach out to me. I know Vaughn and Julie have done some activations with people, not YouTubers, just people that are out activating and have reached out to them and coordinated. By all means, uh, I think one thing that, and I don't want to say it's my YouTube status. I don't think this is it. I think it's just the fact that I'm prolifically active in uh, getting out there. Is that I usually work 50 to 100 plus contacts just sitting there. I think it was something that Dane saw yesterday. I mean, we were just stacking up contacts left and right. And to be fair, when I went out with Mike, Cade, and Marty Mike for the first time, I think our first sit down was well over 200 in just a couple of hours. So yeah, by all the means, if you want to do that, I will. I don't want to say I don't want to say lend my celebrity, but I will come out there because I know I think people look for me and others that are active, and when they see our calls pop up, and once again I'm using Ham Alert. Um, when they see in Ham Alert or see on a POTA spotting page, they'll want to make the contact. Um, I think mostly because they know you're committed. Eric was in here when he lived in Hawaii. Eric, I'm going to say probably daily, was out somewhere in a park, at least multiple times a week, whether he was doing satellite contacts or regular contacts. I mean, obviously being in Hawaii, there's only a limited number of operators, small number of operators that do portable activations from Hawaii. So he was all about it. All right, enough of me jibber jabbering. Let's get some. Let's get some polo up here. Oh, also last week I noticed when I was sharing something that I did not realize, and I had to go. I went back and looked in the stream. I thought when I was sharing the document, you guys weren't seeing it. I wasn't seeing it in the stream thing here, and I was having a little bit of a panic attack. Um, but when I went back and looked at the stream, it was showing. So uh, yeah, I guess I looked goofy last week, but all right, let's find a frequency. I generally like to do 40 meters to start off with. Yeah. And with the tune button, you guys can watch grass grow as this antenna moves. Yeah, I'll tell you what, that sure beats. It's slow, and and which is fine. Some people actually do that while they're driving down the road. Um, so it doesn't exactly move super quick, but nonetheless, it moves. So let's get started here. New operation, and I'm just going to put the POTA nearest POTA park, but I'm using my laptop today, so no GPS module. So I'll just type in the park number. And we are good to go. I did notice some stuff yesterday, and I was using my iPad, and I don't know how long this has been in there. I do turn on in Polo. Um, I turn on developer settings, so I get some updates ahead of the game, and anybody can do this. So if you're tech savvy and having some things goober up on you every once in a while doesn't bother you, I would recommend turning on the developer solutions. Also, I would follow the Ham2K's Discord, because there are always things in there if you don't do that too, and sometimes just reading through uh, the current posts in there, you can generally um, find something relating to it, but also some new things. So I would recommend that. There's the way to turn it on. Just look in the manual, type in and look for developer mode. There's a key sequence that you need to type in there, but then you can choose the track for your patches. I do stable-ish, meaning that they're not bleeding edge, but they are cutting edge. Um, and so one of the cool things that I saw in there, spotting. So when I find a frequency, generally I go in, I put in the band. So I use 7,200. It's my favorite 40-meter frequency, but I use that to come in and just give me in the band. You can here also select the bands. You can also select what continents you want to filter out. Like I have Asia filtered out, I have Oceania filtered out, and Antarctica. Not that I, um, not that I wouldn't want to work stations down there, but most likely the setup that I've got here, uh, and the compromised antenna and everything today, I wouldn't be able to work those. So I just take them out of the, I filter them out so it doesn't do it. But I like to keep this on auto, so it goes. I put my frequency in down, and then I see what's in there. I see who's active. It looks like there's a 3-for going on right now, or not 3-for, but 3 operators at 7268 down in Florida. Might try to contact them. But when I do spot, um, I spot myself, and so if you've got internet connectivity, it will pass it through. I type in my comments. You can hit self spot, but there's a new option that comes up with the developers options turned on. So I'm assuming it'll get integrated out here in a regular build soon. Is now to auto spot, and you can select that, and then every 10 minutes it will push your spot out. Um, I don't know. It's 50-50. Sometimes if you don't stay up in that list, on a regular spot, some people may not try to work you because they think maybe that if it's been uh, 8 or 10 minutes, you may not be active anymore, and that happens. Uh, Don says stable, you're no fun. Don, I live on the bleeding edge at work with technology. Sometimes I got to have a little, slow and low, cheap. I don't know however you want to look at it, but sometimes you gotta uh, take it a little. Now at work, trust me, bleeding edge, man. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna push the limit, and the heck with stability for work. But out here, I'm taking the conservative approach to my logging software. But um, good stuff. Dave says World Radio League has the auto spot too, and that's good. And I tell you what, I encourage everybody. I'm personally a team polo, but I encourage everybody to get out. I'm just glad that we have options that don't look like it came out of Windows 3.1.1. And it, I'm I'm not the look. I'm not the guy that throws shade on somebody, but um, I I heard, and I don't know the whole story, so I can't get maybe too deep into it. But um, Ham Radio Deluxe rolled out some kind of feature that utilized something that people are having problems with because they're not updating their computers. That's what it sounded like to me. And we have this fight in the IT industry all the time. Um, and I think sometimes you get two groups of people in software development in amateur radio. Most of it looks like it came out of 1990s, early 2000s, because it's kind of what that generation of people were writing software for. Nobody wants to rewrite it, right? And I'm sorry, but and I subscribe to Ham Radio Deluxe. I have forever. I pay the maintenance fee, and I don't use it because it's old, it's decrepit. But most of my stuff runs. I'm running portable anyway, so and I'm not going to bring a full computer with me. All right, two. Bond says 235 looks clear. So there's always something somewhere. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Kilo Echo 6 Golf Alpha Echo. Dave, good morning, 5-9.
Good morning there, Tim. I got you about a 5-8 this morning. Getting a little late this morning on me, so I'm having a hard time pulling you in.
Yeah, sorry about that. Got to rambling. You know how that goes. Got to rambling on the live stream, but appreciate it, Dave. Thank you for the contact in 73, my friend.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for being out there activating.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo Echo 0, Mike Alpha Delta.
Kilo Echo 0, Mike Alpha Delta. Sean, good morning, 5-9.
Hey, you're 5-5 in Missouri.
All right, thank you from Missouri this morning. Have a great day today in 73, my friend.
73.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
November 8 Oscar Foxtrot Papa.
November 8 Oscar Fox Papa. Dell, good morning, 5-9.
Good morning. Got you 5-9 as well here in Ohio. Thanks for the park. Have a great activation. 7-3.
All right, thank you for Ohio this morning. 73, my friend. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. There's a very, very faint park-to-park station in there. I cannot pull you out of the noise right now. Maybe try again in a few minutes. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. All right, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot going QSY to 20 meters. So I'll just go with the people are this morning. Is this frequency in use? November Whiskey. Somebody's on 281.
Tango. I was 3, Delta, Papa.
Is this frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot.
No problem. Being you're too young to have that sort of thing happen, but
Is this frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. All right, CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Park to Park, Whiskey 4, Oscar, Golf Whiskey.
Whiskey 4, Oscar Golf Whiskey. George, good morning, 5-9.
Good morning.
Kilo Delta 2, Hotel Whiskey Delta.
5-9 and US 3992, USO.
Copied 5-9 into Uncle Sam 3992 this morning. Thank you for the contact. Have a great activation today in 73, my friend.
You as well, Tim. Sounded good out there, 73, my.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you watching on the live stream. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ.
Good up, man, 73.
All right, 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo Delta 2, Hotel Whiskey Delta.
Kilo Delta 2, Hotel Whiskey Delta. Eric, good morning, 5-9.
Got you 5-4.
Copy the 5-4, my friend. Hey, I'm going to have to get that antenna up now that I got some time to do it. All right, Eric, thank you for the contact this morning. Appreciate it. Have a great day today in 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ.
73.
All right, 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo Golf or Victor Echo Tango.
The Kilo Golf Station. The Kilo Golf Station. Is there a station ending in Echo Tango? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Whiskey Victor 3 Lima.
The Whiskey Victor station?
Whiskey Victor 3 Lima.
Whiskey Victor 3 Lima. John, good morning, 5-5.
Hey, Tim, you're just above my noise floor, but you're about a 5-3.
I'll take the 5-3 this morning, my friend. Thank you for the contact in 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ.
November 5, Sierra Kilo Tango.
November 5, Sierra Kilo Tango. Don, good morning, 5-9.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. You're about a 5-2. 5-2 with very heavy QRM.
All right, thank you for the 5-2. That's probably why I'm not getting too many contacts, but hey, I appreciate it, Don. Thank you for the contact this morning in 73.
Yeah, 73. Good luck, Tim.
All righty, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. All right, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, going QRT. Well, not a biggie. I didn't, not that I didn't activate. I didn't get 10 contacts, right? So not a big deal. I spent too much time jibber jabbering, and that's on me. But you know, I'm not down and out. I got another hour or so before I have to go back home. So, so that's what the distribution looked like today. Blue dots being 40 meters, green dots being 20 meters. So did a little bit of reach out there as far south, down here in Texas with Don. And I got some New York stuff. I think it was Eric out there on in New York. But guys, Tio and Jim will be up here. Go check them out. It is Thanksgiving this week. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your family. Take some time off from work. Get out there and have some fun. Enjoy amateur radio. Tonight, Jason, Ham Radio 2.0, Frank Tank will be doing their live streams. We'll be back Wednesday night with the Ham Radio Kids Table. And hopefully we'll, I got a guest that I'm trying to get in there, but they may not be able to do it before the holiday. But check us out. Everybody have a great week and enjoy it. We will catch you next Sunday morning if we don't see you sooner. And we will talk to you later. 73, everybody.